first killer come out swinging? That is the big question, because you heard Turo. That second series, first killer was unleashed. In that series, he scored more than G2 was able to score in either of their series yesterday put together. So first killer does seem to be the player everyone has their eyes on, Daz.
I mean, obviously, it's first killer, right? When you think about Rogue, you think about first killer, and we saw him be unleashed, like Turo said, in that second half, and you start to see a bit of a fight for Rogue. So it's all about the start here. If first killer can get going, then G2 are definitely going to have a tough series.
Seen an infield pass. Drees trying to find JNabs. He'll chase it to the corner. It's over first killer's head, but still, first will pinch that out and away. Still the attack oncoming from G2. Drees, hard backward pass. It'll bounce. But Sirocco had the space. JNabs up to Chicago. Chicago, high off the backboard. Double tap will send it to the corner. Already, Subi, we're experiencing great pressure from G2.
Yeah, and we heard that from Drees, that they're going to try and lock down that midfield and basically box Rogue in. And, you know, no surprise that Rogue knows that first killer is their most potent weapon, as a lot of people have him as the #1 player, not only in North America, but, in the entire world. And it's due to shots like that and just his mechanical prowess on the offensive half.
The Drees keeping that shot out. First killer had a good look. Hit it right at Drees. JNabs going for the air dribble play. Can he get the double tap? It's out to Chicago, who will finish it off, and G2 will take the early lead.
And you see first killer, he's on his way back. Turo's trying to stop that carry from JNabs, and you can tell first killer at least thought that there was going to be a touch on that play to throw something off, give him a little bit more time, and that counterattack from G2 just showing how deadly they are on the drive.
You see JNabs actually getting out of the way on that, and first killer was defending the double tap, so that opened up the rebound chance for Chicago, who almost hit the double tap. First killer upfield. You see the demo at the midfield from Drees is giving G2 a lot of space.
And we know how G2 are with that space. We saw them utilize that big time against FaZe. When they get going and they get room to work, it's a tough challenge. But oh my goodness, first killer, it's off the crossbar. Rogue still trying to make that drive work, but a decent play to connect.
And Rogue, they're executing their strategy pretty well. We've seen 2 quality looks for first killer, but first killer was not able to sink the shots.
These are some good touches we're also seeing from G2. I mean, you talk about Drees and JNabs. They've been able to play around Turo and Taroko a lot, and they've been forcing, that third man or whoever's back to get that extra challenge in. A lot of work here being done on the defensive end from Rogue in this start.
And, they're being forced to play that defense with the demos coming out from Drees at midfield. G2 getting space, and you're seeing how wide they are. G2 getting these situations where they can go for the rebounds off the backboard, they can get those demos, and they can go for the long passes. And even there, you see Drees a step ahead of first killer. And now JNabs to Chicago. It'll be over Chicago's head, but he'll keep it in the corner. G2, they are setting the tempo.
Right, and you see how neatly these plays are being executed. The other reason there's not a G2 goal is just because that pass was off. But Drees had 2 people on Rogue just in shambles in the net. Another demo, another shot. Can't reach it. It's Chicago picking up the goal.
Seems like G2 executing their game plan. JNabs wiping the floor with Taroko. And just like that, G2 out to a 2-goal lead.
And that all stems from that aggression we saw from Drees. And I was talking about it yesterday, what Rizzo brought to the table, and he even brought it up in his interview of, he's just going for boost steals, he's just going for demos and bumps just to be annoying and to cause chaos on that back line. And if Drees can continue to play like this throughout this entire series, it's going to be a rough day at the office for Rogue.
First killer denying the backboard. Taroko over to first, but first was bumped. Chicago gets the touch as well. Taroko and first killer getting tangled up a bit. Drees stopped by Turnturo, but you see again, there's been multiple opportunities for G2 in their own half to collect the ball and have vision and be able to slow the play down and look for options.
Yeah, and when you also talk about just like how they're even able to set that up, you got to pay attention to the micro here as well, where you look at G2, the way they're playing 50s and even these hard challenges is if it's not a clean beat, then it's a 50 that goes in their favor. We're just now seeing Rogue win some when they're in the defensive end, but G2 can actually fight ball for ball when they make these offensive drives.
And even there at the midfield, Subi, you saw G2 have that extra pace.
That's the difference in this game right now, is just the midfield control that Rogue has, or I'm sorry, that G2 has over Rogue. Rogue hasn't been able to put any offense together outside of the first minute gameplay when we saw those great shots come out from First Killer, but ever since that, it's been all G2 on offense and defense. Just like that, JNap's cutting out that passing lane.
We see a chance though.
And Taroko gets a goal. Go ahead for Rogue, but they still need one to tie it up.
And it's possible. We've seen it happen. Everyone going to be keeping their eyes on Rogue this kickoff to see if they bring out a set piece. We've seen fake kickoffs work before. And there you see Turnturo hitting the brakes, trying to get the ball airborne.
Oh.
But it doesn't work out, and G2 will hold on. They really set the bar high. Coming out in game one, controlling Rogue, but still it was just a one-goal game, Daz. If First Killer hits either one of those shots that he had, we might see a different outcome.
That's true, and Rogue did have those strides early on, but once G2 started playing their play style and they kept the offensive pressure up, they were able to hold on to that pretty much for the remainder of the game. That type of pressure, that type of space, I mean, just how G2 are playing, we are honestly seeing the peak of this G2 roster, and Rogue are going to be in for a challenge here.
And then just looking at the shots, 3 shots for Rogue, opposed to the 12 for G2. Subi, this seems to be going G2's way. You heard in the interview before this, where Turnturo said they wanted to unleash First Killer. Drees talking about how they want to get these bumps and demos and control the pace. It looks like so far, G2's been able to execute, whereas First Killer has not been able to step up just yet.
Well, I mean, you got to be fair and say that those shots were close, and First Killer not going to shoot 100% all of the time, but I like how G2, they saw that, okay, he's starting to warm up and he's getting his shots on target, and Turnturo going to slow down that kickoff, but after that, they just completely shut him down so he didn't get any more looks, and that's what they have to continue to do.
And more looks coming,
wow.
But a save from JNaps. G2, in these situations where you feel like Rogue is going to score, they're getting right where they need to be. They're pre-jumping, filling in the lane, and even Drees not falling for that play. First Killer tried to fake him. Drees calls the bluff.
And you can see the smiles on G2. Your First Killer did go for it, but Drees did not bite. He says, no, I see an open net. Sends that the other way for G2 Esports.
Oh, man, talk about confidence building for the young gun. Subi, he took First Killer to school right there.
He did, and I don't know if that was high IQ or just going full brain dead and just holding down the boost and fully going for that ball, but either way it works out, and don't let First Killer get into your head. Doesn't matter who's coming at you from Rogue, just shut it down, and I love that play from Drees.
I mean, go ahead, Dads.
I was going to say, you could tell, like, for G2 in this matchup, we saw that a little bit yesterday, where it looks like they just have no respect for their opponents. They are going to play their game, and you have to keep up. This is something we see in game one. We're seeing it now. Chicago gets the demo, play out to Drees, but it's over him, and he'll take control in the mid.
But look how much space he's got. The demo opening up the wide rotations for G2, the exact thing Turnturo said they wanted to avoid.
Oh, another demo on First Killer. Get out of here. No offense for you, young man.
Rogue trying to get an offensive play kickstarted, but you got JNaps picking apart the defense. Rebound out to Drees, and he'll take it back. First Killer pressing. Getting the corner boost steal. Trying to push the front line forward for Rogue. First Killer. Oh, here's a chance for him. Did he get the flip reset? No, he goes for a pass. Didn't get the flip reset either. And that was a chance where you think maybe First Killer would pull something out of the hat.
It's a tough time for him right now because he's trying desperately to make sure he maintains 100 boosts while also having to be everywhere on the field because it's tough for Taroko and Turinturo. Look at these demos that are coming back here. They're never safe. They're never in a safe position where they can fully reset. G2 are constantly keeping these guys on their toes, and it's making it hard for when First Killer does have time to be able to execute.
We're starting to see a chance now for Rogue, pushing G2 back. First Killer with the tip. It's right to JNaps. The shot going top corner, but it was blocked by Turinturo. Drees coming in, keeping this ball in the Rogue half. Now, JNaps, backboard bounce again. First Killer will break up that chance and will recover. Got an infield pass to Taroko. Taroko, the shot will be wide. First Killer off the backboard. And you see Drees speeding in to break up that play.
Oh, but Drees, that's a good beat. Does he have his control? Gets the dunk straight down. No follow-up. Close chance, though, for G2.
Drees. He's coming into his own.
Oh my gosh, almost another.
And that, Subi, if that goes in, you pretty much write game one or series one off for Rogue.
Pretty much, right? But I think another big factor in this is the amount of touches JNaps is getting on the ball. Just touching it, just to cause chaos for Rogue. And, you know, I don't know if you guys saw the stats in game one, but Rogue all had about mid-30s for amount of touches on ball, and JNaps was sitting up there in the 50s. So he is just all over the field right now.
And you're seeing a lot of that due to the demos getting G2 space. Even there, the spacing, Drees so far back as third man, ready to come in and either go for a demo or take a shot if there's a rebound chance. Approaching the final minute of gameplay, Rogue have had some time in G2's half. They've had some good looks, but they need one here. Taroko, that hit ain't gonna do it. And you see another save coming out from G2. Chicago sees an opening, and he strikes.
Caught out again. You have to have somebody back against G2. If they see an open net, the ball's heading that way. Pickpockets from Rogue. 2 goals now that G2 have been able to score. And for Rogue, it's not looking good. 48 seconds left.
Chicago almost getting another one. And you saw on that play, First Killer thought his teammate up near the wall was going to get a touch. So First Killer cheats in a bit. And that left the net wide open. Pinch out. First Killer.
Oh my God.
The Rogue defense running on fumes. Drees. Late play. Goes for the 50. Turinturo will pop that up. JNaps to the backboard. Taroko can't make the read. First Killer with the block. JNaps happy to waste some time. Rogue, they wanted to activate First Killer, but so far the plan has not worked out. G2 up 2 games to nothing, 1 game away from closing out this first series.
And they've just been dominating. They actually have just been dominating. And even though the score lines have been 1-goal games in game 1 and a 2-goal game here, it's just the fact that they are limiting Rogue here on offense. Rogue aren't able to score this game. I almost didn't even think that. I had to look back and make sure that they scored in game 1. Yeah, of course, there was a late goal scored there. But it's just, that's how much control G2 have had.
Let's be real. That was a participation goal. They got a medal for just showing up today. That's that goal that G2 let them have, because this series has been all G2 as we get eyes on Rogue with their coach, Corrupt the G, trying to figure out how to break through this G2 offense. But let's not forget also that Rogue is in quite a slump right now. Yes, they won the 3rd regional in winter, and then they came back in spring and won the 1st regional. But since then, they've been in hibernation. They've been nowhere to be found. So it's time to wake up.
And you've got to activate First Killer. If you're Corrupted G, you've got to do everything you can to hype up First Killer. He is that chess piece that you need to be in position to make that
queen,
move.
Right?
He's got to make the move. He's got to make the move right now. Can't be hesitant. First Killer, we've seen him take a few shots, come up short, and even on that last play where Chicago was able to shoot that ball into an open net, it was through a miscommunication. First Killer thought that touch was going to be coming out on the sidewall, never came through, and G2 was able to get it. Also, First Killer, that play with Drees, dunking it over him full field. All these plays are directly affecting First Killer, who is that player that Rogue desperately needs to start hitting his stride. So the pressure mounting, Rogue season coming down to this set. They cannot afford to get swept in the first series.
That's true. One of the ways I think for Rogue to actually activate First Killer is to make him not be the threat. Because when you think about it, right, when Turo and Taroko are on, especially Taroko, if Taroko really starts finding his stride on the shots, that presents a problem that G2 are going to want to answer. So they'll start focusing on anybody else. And then that's when you let First Killer come in, because then he can start to set those two up. And that's where you really start to see Rogue, when it's a triple threat on the roster. Just relying on one person, I know Turin said it, they're going to need more than that. Everybody has to be on for Rogue.
You're right, Daz. That could be the way to get First Killer into it, is relieve a bit of that pressure to perform, and then maybe he'll start shining. First Killer with the dribble. Taroko going for the bump. The fake from First, but a block, and what is clear on the goal line. What? I am in shock that G2 kept that out.
They are not letting anything through. Just a wall at this point. You see that play from First Killer go downfield, you think it's in the net, just no.
This is it, right? No. First Killer being activated, but no.
That has to be one of the best saves, not only this entire championship, but entire season. That was incredible. Given the fact that you've got First Killer barreling down the field, one of the best 1v1 players in the world. And you can stuff him like that, and JNap's putting on shots like that. G2 firing on all cylinders.
But First Killer responding with a save of his own. JNap's had that double tap line. A strong defensive start from both teams, Daz.
This is championships, where you need teams to all play on the highest level. And you have to have that expectation here for Rogue. G2 definitely have it set on defense. If you're all these standard plays, they're not going to work. You need to be more creative.
And you saw JNap's come up a bit short. Normally so good on the shots, had a light one that allowed Rogue to get a counterattack going. Lob towards Taroko, who sets it up for First Killer. Turo waiting for the rebound chance. Comes off the ceiling. Turo with the touch, will get the 50. Taroko to First Killer. First Killer will have his shot blocked. Taroko, the bounce shot attempt. And JNaps keeps it out. G2's defense holding strong, but it's still being challenged. And a far pull shot from Taroko will give Rogue a lead.
There's Taroko, top left slot on the shot. When he hits those, you better start watching out. Beautiful awareness and reaction, and we see Rogue in the lead.
And this is just what you were talking about, Daz, allowing other players from Rogue to step up, take some of that burden off, let First Killer take a breather, and then maybe we'll see him start to get playing at a level we know he can. Turo, First Killer upfield. Pinch doesn't come through. Turo going for the bump. CG2 fighting at the midfield, Subi.
Yeah, that was a great block there, because Drees accidentally stole midfield boost from JNap, so he's slow to rotate back. Looked like net was going to be wide open, but somehow, you could hear Daz even say, wow, on that one. Like, how did he get there to get that 50?
It looked like it was going to be a free ball there for Taroko, and then, okay, we may see a Rogue play upfield, but no, still a 50. These plays that seemingly look one-sided for Rogue, and yet G2 still are able to have some type of involvement in them.
And their positioning allows them to camouflage their challenges a bit, and it's even surprising Rogue. Chicago taking that low, but Taroko with a booming clear got huge power on that, and he needed to get it by Drees. He's now going for the air dribble 50.
Oh my gosh.
JNap's coming in. First Killer getting a demo on Drees, starting to see aggression on behalf of Rogue. But Chicago will pinch it over to JNap. A block. It's on the goal line, and Taroko will clear it out.
Oh, he doesn't have any boost, so he's got to play this one smart. Gets that mid, gets demoed, but it does relieve a little bit of pressure there for Rogue. That's a good play from Rocky.
And the miss from Drees opening up the counter for First, but First wasn't able to get much going. Did get the corner boost steal, and a good pass here could do something. Turinturo in a race against Chicago. Chicago tipping it by multiple players. JNaps
there it is.
with the shot behind the defender. G2 tie it up in the final minute.
This is so good from G2, especially from JNaps. He knows Taroko's coming in fast. Delayed shot to the right side, and that's how you catch him out. They're playing this high-speed game. The off-speed shot is what's going to do it.
And Chicago, credit to him at the midfield, taking 2 defenders out of the game. Chicago getting a demo. The pass way too far ahead of First Killer. Drees with a nice tap over to JNaps, but Turinturo with a massive win at the midfield. That could have been a scoring chance for G2. The G2 not giving up yet. However, we see a demo on JNaps. Taroko, 0 boost. Forcing it upfield. JNaps wrapping around the corner. Turinturo setting it up, but it's too close to Drees. First Killer to the corner. JNaps shuts it down. Now Turinturo flipping, forcing it out. The air dribble. Blocked by Drees. Final chance for Rogue. JNaps getting blocked by Taroko. First Killer will have a pass off the sidewall. JNaps down to Drees. Drees will hit it to the ground, and we'll head to overtime. Rogue have to score this next goal, otherwise they'll drop the first series.
Everything, I mean, they've had a decent amount of build up this game. This is the best they've looked so far in this series. A win here would be massive for them in terms of shifting the overall momentum and getting them back in.
We saw them almost pull off that reverse sweep against Space Station in the second series yesterday.
Oh, mama!
Oh!
First series almost ending there. First Killer low on boost, and he doesn't hit it. Shot comes in, Taroko in the right spot, but Chicago now in a foot race. The pinch pass to the middle. 0 boost. First Killer will get a weak clear up to the middle. Turinturo trying to get the block. Taroko now with a shot, and Chicago gets in the way. But Rogue still on the attack. A double commit from G2. A demo from First. But Chicago testing the middle. Taroko pops it up. First Killer a chance off the ceiling. The flip reset. The double tap. First Killer comes up short, but what an effort.
The speed on the field is electric, and we're seeing so many high-level plays back and forth as the ball moves in transition. This is incredible how tense this overtime is.
Look at G2's boost.
Uh-oh.
Running low. G2 holding on as best they can. Chicago with the big 50 win. It pops up to JNaps. JNaps towards net. First Killer will clear it off to the side. Drees lets it through. First Killer with the pop. Chicago looking for JNaps. JNaps off the backboard. JNaps! The superhero for G2!
Look at this follow-up. JNaps, superstar striker, finishes the first series there for G2. My goodness.
Oh, what an ending to that. G2 putting a cherry on top of the first series. Subi, that was entertainment.
Oh my goodness, JNaps taking game 3 all for himself, getting both of G2's goals, and so important, but it all stemmed from that save right there out of the gates from Chicago and Drees. That's one of the best goal line stances I have ever seen.
This, you know, I originally bristled when Gibbs said that G2 is better now. Welcome, Drees. I was upset because G2, they won Season 9. They won Season 9 with Rizzo. So is that fair to say? I don't know. But after this series, this is the best G2 gameplay that I've ever seen, This was incredible. And now Rogue is going to have to find themselves in a very difficult spot. G2 playing at their peak. Rogue kept it close, though. These games were close, but they have not been able to find a way to close the game out, Daz. And that has to be worrying.
It is especially worrying, especially when you see the level that G2 is coming out here against these teams. I mean, it seems like you're playing a totally different roster than what we've seen for the entire season. And this is going to be Rogue's toughest test yet, because as good as they played, as well as they played in that game 3, it still wasn't enough.
They came close, and now we'll have one series that they have to win. Otherwise, their season is over.
Rogue are sitting with their backs against the wall. Their season could be over if they don't win this next set. And here we go, boys.
I'm ready. I'm so ready. And one thing I'd like everyone out there to keep an eye on is just G2's spacing, because it was very important and integral to their success there in that first series. They didn't allow Rogue to have a lot of open looks, unlike that one where Taroko, nice shot top of the box, but also hitting the ball with a purpose. Every time G2 hit that ball in that first series, it was either up to a teammate or bombing it over Rogue's heads.
Yeah, and Rogue, they just need a strong start. They've got to get this win in game 1. You know, it's so important that they get some sort of positivity, especially for their mindset and the tough plays that were specifically affecting First Killer, having the ball dunked over him a couple times. Rogue really need this game 1.
Yeah, game 1 underway. You see Drees, fake over 1, does get it past. He's looking for this mid to get it to JNAS, but a little bit too far. First Killer will pick it up. You can see that these fake plays coming out, a lot of mind games on the field. But so far, we're still scoreless. Taroko looking for a carry into a 50, but Drees, these long clears, something that Rogue has been punished for in the past. Chicago puts on a good shot. JNAP's follow-up is gonna go straight to Taroko, and goal line save. After goal line save happening in the start here for Rogue, Chicago will finally push it into the back of the net. G2's pressure cannot be stopped.
Eventually that wall's gonna crumble, and G2 just put shot after shot on target, and they refused to rotate out. You saw how many times they just cut rotations to stay in and keep that pressure. And well done by G2 in that first minute.
And I think G2 fans happy that Chicago has finally ended his relationship with the crossbar. We saw multiple shots right there. Even the one before it, I think it was Taroko that saved it. But Chicago banging that right underneath the crossbar again. G2's offense is not letting off the gas, and that has to be worrying Rogue, whose season is coming down to this series.
Yeah, you can see everyone on G2. They are all in top shape, but Taroko with that 50 pinch right in your net for Rogue to tie.
Yeah, Drees decided to go up that back wall there and gave First Killer the opportunity for a slight nudge, which put Drees just far enough away from that ball for Taroko to get a wide open look and tie this ball game up.
This one, a lot better here for Rogue. Kickoff goal, First Killer cheats up perfectly for this one.
Uh-oh, and that's not a player you want to give an open look to. First Killer now sees that ball go into the back of the net. It's like putting a high-level shooter at the free throw line, just giving him a freebies to warm up.
And you talk about a life raft for Rogue. It couldn't have come at a better time. Getting a kickoff goal in game 1 when they already got swept last series. They need that slack, and they've got it. But now the question is, can they hold on to this lead? G2 has been frighteningly fast and ferocious on the offensive end. I don't know if a 1-goal lead is going to hold up.
That's definitely going to be a big question here too, because it has been very low scoring in this series. Rogue's defense, although it hasn't stopped G2 from winning games, it has kept the scoreline in a low margin. So you have to keep credits to that. Taroko pushes this one here in the midfield. JNAPS will clear it out. Chicago looking for the transition. Another goal line save. This one's going to be played out, and JNAPS will have to turn off of it. But G2 not letting up as we approach the bottom half of game 1.
I mean, they touched that ball in their own half, and a second later firing a shot on target that forced a really quick save from Rogue. So G2 doing a great job of maintaining pressure regardless of where they are on the field. But here comes First Killer, gets bumped off that ball, and Chicago going to try and clear this away. But we're still waiting on Turinturo to show up. He did get an assist there in game number 1, but again, I was telling you how that was just like a feel-good goal for Rogue. So not much so far from Turinturo.
Turin on the ball now. Won't be able to get that one past JNAPS, and First Killer will pick up another save. G2, you see how they start to take their time, really say, okay, where do we want to place this ball? As, you know, as fast as they are, they're also very methodical on the press. There's JNaps again on the sidewall, but this is Turo. Tries to go for a backboard play, but Drees is there. Long clear. Toroko, I don't know if he has to read there. JNaps will pick it up, and G2 tie.
And you just see this ball barely kiss the ceiling, and JNaps all the way downfield, getting a boost steal, and ball basically falls in his lap. Good redirect, put that on target.
And that is a world-class clear off your own backboard. It is tough to find that right angle. You know, it's so much easier to blast that off the ceiling, and somehow Drees was able to fit a camel through the eye of a needle. That was something else.
On the goal line. Turo just keeping the pressure here, and little confusion from G2 here as the team bump opens up the waters there.
This has been a game that has really tested a lot of defenses here. Rogue have been caught out on transitions, and we saw that last goal from G2, but these quick goals off of kickoff, G2 can't get set fast enough, and it has been costing them. We got a minute left here, James, in game one, and Rogue are up by one, but I still think G2 have a chance to bring this one back. First killer looking for the double sprint down. Soroko's gonna clean it up, and that's a big 2-goal lead for Rogue.
This was massive for Rogue. This really was, because like you said, Daz, you're thinking that G2 might be able to wiggle their way back into it, but First Killer with a brilliant touch here. You see it bouncing off the ceiling, bouncing off the backboard, still able to get that pass out. And you think about the kickoff goals as well. Rogue caught a few breaks in this game, and they didn't let that opportunity slip away from them.
Yeah, and what has really benefited G2 in this series is their lack of double commits, and both goals that have extended this lead for Rogue, we've seen double commits from G2, and that's a great pass from First Killer, keeping it away from Chicago, and Turo keeping this game out of reach.
First Killer can't score, he'll just set up the play. Look at that touch, that's his third assist. Turo with the cleanup here. This is what Rogue looked like when all the pieces of the puzzle are put together. 30 seconds up, they're up by 3. I want to say, out of this set, this is the largest lead we've seen between these two teams.
Yeah, no one scored more than 2 goals in a game, Daz. Rogue only scored 2 goals in all of the last series.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is such a better start for Rogue. And you think back to yesterday against Space Station. It took them until they were in game 3 of the second series to show up. Now, first game of this series, they're putting in 5. Rogue have a shot.
This one, they're just keeping this one up at this point. It hits the ground. But even G2, looking at them, they don't seem too troubled by this result. Definitely is one that you got to pay attention to, but they're in a really good position. Despite that, Rogue come out and play the best we've seen from them so far today. And now I think if they can continue to keep this up, the series, I mean, this series could be blown wide open. This is really good looks here from Rogue.
Well, and James, look at that. First Killer, most touches over 50.
Yeah.
And that's really the difference maker of this game.
Well, I mean, even look at the demos. Subi, you see Rogue 4 demos, G2 none. And we saw demos play such an important role in that first series to keep Rogue off balance, to allow G2 to get the space. G2, they had a few good goals, but overall, Rogue was able to adapt to that demo pressure, avoid it, and also take advantage of those opportunities off kickoff. And when you're in a tight series like this, those kickoff goals are priceless.
So we're going to see more of these kickoff plays. We're already see a first demo within the first 10 seconds. This is a lot of space to turn. Fake over 1. It will blow through Chicago. Oh my God, and this JNaps off the play too. Drees last back, but he's going to sail it as, wow, Rogue already start this one off with an explosive foot. G2 looking a little uncomfortable as they try to reset. First Killer almost got a dunk, but it rolls around the goal line.
Not a great touch there, but First Killer trying to slow things down, allows teammates to get back, and Drees can't punch that through. But G2 looking to ramp up the aggression here, as we have seen so many demos come out from Rogue. And G2, James, you were talking about their success stemmed from that in the first series.
Yeah, G2 now finding themselves fending off aggression. Rogue going for those demos, and even on that last play, the pass Chicago was going for a bump on the last defender. I think it was Taroko that was able to avoid it and get the block. So I think that's the difference for Rogue, is they're finding ways to avoid that demo and bump pressure and turn the tables.
Seen a lot of counter demos come out here for Rogue. They're on the push right now. You can see another pass play, but Chicago quick to cut that out. Gets a demo on first killer. Turn Turo in a really tough spot. Dree's trying to get this mid, but first killer off the respawn is going to be there to get a good 50.
Yeah, Drees has got to put a little more heat behind that pass and try and get it to the left side of the field, because you saw two Rogue players sitting right there waiting for that pass to come through. Is another soft pass. That one's not going to work either. Right now, Rogue cutting out those passing lanes. G2 got to do a little bit better job of getting those closer to midfield.
And it's easy to forget how risky it is to go for those infield passes.
Beautiful.
Chicago, the crossbar.
Oh,
man. Looks like he got back into that abusive relationship with
his
the crossbar.
ex called him back, and he climbed right back into it.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, that was a tough one to hit for Chicago. I mean, you think he scored, beats the last defender, and then clang.
I really thought he had the goal there. That hurts. That hurts. We got half the game to go in game 2. And it's still scoreless, but G2, we're seeing them connect on their pass plays moving upfield, and we are seeing open looks at the net like the one Chicago just had. But Turo still gonna put this one in for Rogue.
Oh, just a nice little soft tap to put a change up on the speed behind this ball, and Chicago flying right on by Bit, thinking he's gonna put a little more heat behind that.
Yeah, and I like that play from Turo. He's just getting up there, making sure that Chicago can't clear it out of the zone. Ends up getting the tap in the net. Things going Rogue's way. I mean, they can't control whether
He missed it.
Oh.
What?
There's
Wow.
nothing really to say other than what?
You just gotta let that one go. Just let it go. Just let it go and go next. 2:17 on the clock. And off of a blunder on defense from Rogue, we're back tied up. First killer trying to get one off the kick.
Oh my.
Good
Drees
save.
has to stretch for it. Another demo play. This one takes out first killer. G2, Chicago trying to get the dunk. Does get it to JNaps. Where's JNaps going to go? Rogue all over him as they are not trying to let another one in from G2. Can Drees find the angle? Does
Oh my
find
gosh.
it. First killer has to save it, and he does.
I cannot believe he put that on target. Great angles from Drees. Great save on that ball. Downfield as well from Drees. All over for G2, and we're nearing a minute and a half to go here, Daz, and still all tied up. But I really feel like this game is being played. Oh, where's G2?
Oh, another huge mistake. You see, Chicago probably should have left that. He probably should have just left that for JNaps, who was coming in. And you saw what Chicago wanted to do. He wanted to set the ball up for a hard clear for JNaps. But unfortunately for him, JNaps was too close to the ball. So despite G2 catching a break, they find themselves making a mistake and allowing Rogue to get back into the lead.
Rogue with the lead again and almost looking to add on, and that can first killer put this around him. Taroko, he's got the cleanup. That's off speed touch from Taroko.
Just putting Chicago on ice skates and sliding right on by. Slow it up, just a soft tap, and Taroko making it look easy.
And you see that first killer putting that ball in. You saw the first double commit, the second double commit. This has not been the cleanest game from either side. But Rogue, the beneficiary, they're really going to be in the driver's seat now, and they needed this. They get swept the first series. Now they might be doing all the sweeping here in the second.
And you can see the confidence is so much higher here on Rogue. From the drives to the shots that they're putting on, that off-speed touch from Taroko. I mean, he's not just playing a speedy game. He's not just trying to get to the ball. He knows when he has space. He knows when he has control, and he's making the use of that. We got 40 seconds left in this game. G2 are still going to want to get one here before this game is over, but Rogue right now have all the control.
They need to score on this drive if they want a realistic chance. And with that going in the back of the net, it is going to make things even harder for G2 as Rogue putting on a clinic, getting 5 goals in game number 1, and it's looking like 4 here in game number 2.
I don't think it could have gone much worse for G2. They even caught a break this game, if you think back to that goal that Rogue let in. But G2 made so many mistakes. Rogue also playing better, catching some breaks. And this is exactly what Rogue needed. They needed to catch their breath. And now, with G2 not playing their best, Rogue starting to heat up. Rogue might be able to get back into this, and this is going to be very worrisome for G2. You'll wonder if they're going to take a timeout after this one.
I think they should. I mean, yeah, you're down and you're going to have to pull off a reverse sweep. Pretty little goal there at the end for J-Naps, but ultimately not going to amount to anything in this series. But I'm really impressed with Rogue's ability to not only really slow down the gameplay in this series, but also getting everyone involved like you were talking about, Daz. Like, it doesn't rest on First Killer's shoulders alone. Turinturo and Taroko have stepped up huge.
Taroko shooting 2 for 3 in that one and 5 saves. Doing great work. And we do have that call from G2. They are going to take a tactical timeout here as they are in danger of being swept here in the second series. You see Jazo talking up to the team right now. It's because they were coming in confident, but it just feels like they're running into a wall here. Rogue, these past 2 games, it's just been all them.
You know, and interestingly enough, this entire set, G2 has scored 2 goals in every single game. That's their magic number. So if they're going to stick to that, they have to do a much better job of what they were doing in the first series. And that was boxing Rogue in their own half. That was the aggression, that was the bumps, that was the demos, that was the boost steals, which we're not seeing any of in this series.
Rogue has been doing a much better job of picking up those full boost pads and just having boost for that battle at the midfield. You've seen it a few times from First Killer, and it's allowed Rogue to keep pressing that front line forward, where G2 was able to keep all of the Rogue players back on their own half in the first series. Rogue has been able to cut out those passing attempts and also take advantage of a few mistakes from G2, where we really didn't see any mistakes from G2 in that first series. They made multiple in this game alone. So Rogue, they're in the driver's seat now. They get this win, they get this sweep going into the final series. I can see why Achieve stayed strong with Rogue. They are proving that they're here to play, that they belong, and they might just bring this back.
Yeah, well, the way we've seen Rogue honestly step up here, it does look like they have that potential to bring it back. They're playing almost a good counter to G2's playstyle. You know, G2 are coming out with demos, but it also leaves their back line a little bit weaker if the same thing is done to them. And we have seen the demo game also rise up here for Rogue. It's thrown off G2 a little bit, and like we saw, that was a very, as well as Rogue played and how they won, it was still very sloppy on both sides. I mean, we saw a complete whiff from Taroko, and that went into the net. We saw whiffs on the other side from G2, and G2 also on offense. You can also see even how things have been affecting them. Chicago crossbar. That would have been at least a 1-goal difference here in the game, and maybe it would have even brought back a lot of momentum, because that was a perfect setup play from G2 to give them an open net. But the final shots are not scored. That's got to do something to them.
And another factor is Rogue's ability to cut out those infield passes from G2. Seemed like every single infield pass that we saw, someone from Rogue was there either to challenge it or completely steal that ball away.
So game 3 already live, and a goal line save, but another one, no. Drees will put it in, and G2 start off on the lead.
Yeah, this is a great carry there off of the ceiling, and good save on the goal line, but not good enough. 2 G2 players just sharking in the box to put that one back in the net.
Oh, and you saw Drees actually got bumped down. That actually put him in a position to go for the follow-up shot. If Drees doesn't get bumped, I think his momentum carries him out of the path of being able to pick up that rebound. And you saw J-Naps was too far away, so that was a fortunate bump that Drees had committed against him. If he doesn't get hit, no goal for G2.
G2 off the tactical timeout. Start this one off with a goal. Still a lot of game to play. They're trying to get out of their own half right now. You see Taroko pushing this one up. J-Naps will be able to get a second touch here. Yeah, straight down to Chicago. Who's going to sail it to the back wall. Turn to roll. Oh, that's a miss clear. And this one will soar over the net. It leads to Taroko looking for a pass to first killer on transition. Works out for Rogue. But this offense, nothing doing quite yet. There's a demo on the ball. Taroko looking for the shot, but it's high. Almost a good chance there. You see what happens here with Rogue. They're doing the G2 method. Send someone up, get the demo, create a lane. Just missing here on the shot chance. Oh, that's a bad touch. Oh, they're juggling in front of the net.
Oh, boy.
But no one's going to be able to get around it. First killer tries. G2, by the skin of their teeth, still in the lead.
Yeah,
You've always, or we've been in that situation before, Subi, where your team low on boost and the ball floats above the crossbar, and it's torture.
Oh, your camera just spins in. Oh no, they got caught out again, and Taroko gonna finish the job for Rogue. Great heads-up play from first killer to send it all the way downfield.
Taroko just there. He's waiting, and this is another example here. G2 kind of getting caught out. And Taroko in a prime position. Now, at the 3-minute mark, Rogue tie this one up. And the hot start G2 had to this one slowly starting to diminish. Here's Turin. Oh, Chicago touch out. J-Nap's gonna give it right back to him. Chicago low on boost. That's gonna be his last touch. So first killer will be able to pick it up. And these two just kind of waiting for that mistake. You can see Rogue, they're comfortable with clearing the ball downfield because they know G2 haven't really, with the space they haven't been able to work. And Subi called it on the money. Drees to give G2 the lead again.
Yeah, this pass was nasty from J-Naps, using that corner as an extra teammate, and Drees going back door on that shot. Good heads-up play to put that on the right post.
The right amount of power on that pop. You see Taroko didn't have a clean landing either, so he had little time to react. But J-Naps, give him credit. That was a beautiful pass.
So G2, when they are able to get these passes going, they look like a large threat. Rogue, only 3 shots apiece on both sides of the field here. The G2's definitely made the most of their opportunities so far this game. Less than 2 minutes left on the clock. Rogue trying to get into that G2 end. G2 feels like they're sitting in the driver's seat. Shot chance there for Drees, blocked out. First killer will get a clear. The Rogue transition will try to begin, but G2 got that cut off in the midfield once again.
Yeah, this is what G2 needs to do. Continue with those passes to clear the ball downfield and, you know, not be so linear with their plays. They're not just going for infield passes off the side wall. Now they're starting to work the corner, the backboard. So there's so many more angles that Rogue has to pay attention to. And you see him starting to scramble on defense. Minute and a half to go here. Great defense there from Taroko. Came forward, took away the angle on that ball.
And you saw back-to-back plays where G2 was able to cut out that outlet pass. You do see a double commit from Chicago and Drees, putting extra pressure on J-Naps, and you see him letting Rogue play that ball out to the middle.
Oh, Drees looking for J-Naps. That's a high shot.
Oh!
Corner it down. J-Naps strikes again.
Upper 90. He calls it. He sees it. He hits it. J-Naps from midfield.
Goodness. That was pixel perfect top corner. The ball comes out at a 45-degree angle. You see, that was perfect.
Just a smidgen more to the right, and that ball's out.
First killer. Oh. That's tough. Taroko will try to get around it. Now it looks like G2, they needed that timeout. They are looking much better. The pass
what a clear.
Do you see the clears? The shots are all on in favor of G2. 30 seconds left here. I think they can hold on to this lead.
Yeah, if they don't double commit like that, my goodness, up in the air, and Chicago gets back to the goal line.
That wasn't the prettiest of defensive plays from G2, but they still survive, and they kickstart a counter. That passing play from G2 rearing its head yet again.
Yeah, you see Turin too trying to get that touch out. He knows that G2 are going to have a pass from that, and he can't stop it. JNaps gives that to Chicago, and a laser of a shot from Chicago. No crossbar involved. Final 15 seconds here in this game. And we have seen finally G2, Subi said it himself, they break that magic number of 2 goals. They're going to put on 5 this game, and Chicago puts in the 5th.
Oh my goodness. G2 just running the field right now. Rogue had 0 answers this game, and boys, we got ourselves a series.
Yeah, we really do. And G2, you thought they might be laying down here, but that timeout, that has proved to really help them get their bearings. And now the momentum's starting to shift. G2, can they do it again, though? Because this is the only game where they've managed to score more than 2 goals, whereas Rogue's offense has shown that they still have potential. But this game, a bit of a disappointment for Rogue. They were eager to close it out in a sweep and get on to the next one.
And you could see some of the frustration on the cams with First Killer, especially was not happy with that one. And even looking at the score totals here as well, it really did. It just seemed like it was just so much more like G2.
I mean, look at that beautiful new overlay where you get to see the colors, and it's an easy bar for someone like me to read. It's more orange than it is blue. That's easy to figure out. It's all G2, but it all stems from the fact of all of their clears. And I'm sure there was at least one that wasn't, but all of them felt like they were off of passing plays, and it made Rogue have to rotate so quickly back to defense. And not only can you not get boost, but you got to cover up the goal line and the whole net by your lonesome.
Yeah, and it's really tough, though. I understand the Rogue frustration, but when you see JNaps shooting like that, there's almost nothing you can do about that.
Oh, no, you can watch.
Yeah.
You can just, wow, that was good.
Appreciate it. Oh, what a pass.
Already starting off with G2 pressure. First Killer has to make a save. That's a triple commit on the net. Drees to JNaps, trying to get it back to Drees, but he just cannot get around that ball. We'll buy a moment here.
There's the demo
Chicago
ball.
With the demo. And Rogue are going to have to do, Turn. And he can't even grab the mid boost at this point. Taroko off the respawn being chased by JNaps. Has just enough boost to get in midfield, but to who? Turn's gone again. Rogue, they have to watch out, heads on a swivel. How many, was that 4 demos we had in like
a lot.
Not even the first minute?
More than one.
Another one coming out as well. And those demos are allowing G2 to start winning on the boost game. That shot gonna be high.
Oh.
Still rebound, ooh.
Oh, this one, more pressure. Drees tries to wrap that around. He gets taken out by Turin. Turin also picks up the mid boost and gets that one away, but it's going to be possession to Chicago. G2 are going to try once again to see if they can starve out Rogue. That's a high ball, and Turo doesn't let Drees get the chance. Transition for First Killer, but JNaps soars it back to the other side. These two trading possessions left and right. This one finally, it seems like it's going to be killed here, but when Rogue are on defense, unless they get it past that midfield line, they are not out of trouble just yet. JNaps with the solo play, and it will be killed. And finally, a moment to breathe.
Oh, that first minute and a half, G2 were just swarming on offense. And, they also had a little demo fever to put on top. Just pure aggression right out of the gates. And Rogue, 2 minutes into this game, so far, not even a shot. I don't even think this ball has really been close to net. And as I say that, first one goes up on the board for Rogue.
And this game has started out with a G2 flurry, but it's been defended from Rogue. We're going to look to counterpunch.
Yeah, it seems like G2 know, okay, we got a little bit of frustration out there on Rogue. Now let's really just try to hammer it on in this next game. And maybe if they go to a game 5, they'll have everything working out in their favor. That's why this one's so important for them. They could, if they do it right, they have everything in their hands going into game 5 for them to close it out in the easiest fashion. JNaps with the carry! JNaps! And the knapsack is back!
Oh, baby, he is back as ever and getting highlight reel goal after highlight reel goal. He is making his mark on this series.
Oh, the finesse. You see him getting up close to the ball and picking it up perfectly so he could air dribble, push that ball. The amount of car control, it's unimaginable. JNaps has been lights out this series.
Chicago, soft touch, trying to leave that for JNaps. Good 50 from first killer to give some space here for Rogue. Drees off to the side looking for the pinch. Another good read here for first killer. Sirocco will get a demo on Drees. First killer gets one on JNaps, but the ball is in the blue half. Sirocco has to dodge a demo, play around it, and still try to move downfield. Definitely uncomfortable, but Rogue are making it work. The double from first killer offside. That one will pinch, but another clear from G2. Rogue are trying so hard to make their offense work, but they're playing from behind when they go for the touches on the ball, and they look so uncomfortable on the press.
It looks like they're forcing a great pass from Chicago off of the ceiling, dropping it down from the heavens.
And you see this play more and more and more, where you know you've got that defender coming in behind you, just blast it off the ceiling. There's a good chance it might just go in, and worst case scenario, you got a teammate there to clean up. That's exactly what Drees did. Sirocco in a hopeless position. Chicago, excellent effort on that play.
Momentum in favor of G2. Chicago looking for a solo play. First killer won't let him get it. JNaps just goes for the boost steal. Sets it up for Drees. Shot! Turinturo will get the save there. Rogue set in net. G2 have to work to pull him out. Chicago is doing that work. He gets it past two. Set up for JNaps again! They just keep going! G2 up by 3!
They can do no wrong. Chicago keeps the play alive. Nice little soft tap out to the box, and JNaps finishing it off for good measure.
Talk about timing. JNaps getting there perfectly, getting behind the ball to ensure that dunk heads back towards the net. This series from JNaps has been remarkable. It has been a treat to watch him play so far, but Rogue, they're not out of the series yet. This game feels like it's out of their reach. But if they can snuff G2, if they can find a way to beat him in game 5, it'll be game on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, this is a high ball. Chicago does have a read there. Rogue still trying to see if they can score with time. And look at that pre-jump from Drees. He knew exactly where first killer was putting that ball.
Oh, he jumped up from the last lobby. That's how early he was in the air.
And G2 not letting anything happen here for Rogue. That defense is solid. So they have the final 30 seconds here in game 4. But man, Rogue started strong, but G2, they fought back just as strong. We talk about the leads here. In this series alone, the lowest lead has been from 2 goals. Turin almost gets that one in and rolls across the goal line. But buckle up. We're going to a game 5. Final play here on Utopia Coliseum is going to end whenever this ball hits the ground. But my goodness, G2 are going to take this one, and as we just got word, there's going to be a timeout for Rogue.
You know, I honestly feel like they should have taken it before this game, after that dominating victory in game 3 that G2 had. But alas, here we are, Rogue taking yet another tactical timeout to try and figure out this powerful offense from G2, because when they are winning, they are winning. They have yet to allow Rogue to score more than 1 goal in any of their victories.
And you know what Corrupted G's got to be saying right now? Put a man on JNaps. Don't let him take the shot. If he goes for the dunk, foul him. Take him to the court. Don't let him take it, because if he does, he's scoring.
I mean, I don't blame you, because the amount of space that Rogue is given to G2 in midfield is absurd. It seems like JNaps specifically, but also Drees has put his mark on it as well. They're getting so much time on their air dribbles, and no one's going up to challenge them until it's too late.
It looks like Turinturo's preparing the tweet for when the series is done. maybe that's where the mental's at right now.
No, he's Googling how to beat G2.
JNaps statistics. Strategies to beat JNaps. That's got to be what it is.
Yeah, it's got to be a reset here. It's definitely got to be a reset. But meanwhile, for G2, they have to stay locked in, because it's that immense pressure that is winning them games here. If they pull off the gas for a little bit, then that leaves an opportunity for Rogue. You can see Rogue, they're trying to get that full, clear mental reset. But for G2, everything's got to be on. They got to come out of this strong.
In game 5, first killer going to go with a card change, and that can do a lot for a player's mentality, especially a player like first killer who thinks, I just need to change one little thing, and this could be the game. Game 5 in this second series where we see First Killer really pop off.
And now, for me, I'm wondering if JNaps can bring it to this final game. This is such a key moment in the season for G2. We have had a long year. Rogue has had ups and downs. G2 has had ups and downs. Even Chicago and JNaps, if you think they got to the Season 7 World Championship Finals, the next season, they were facing relegation. And then to bring it back in Season 9 and win the whole thing. Now, with Drees coming in place of Rizzo, they've got a chance to knock Rogue out and move even further on in the championships.
Ooh, Chicago almost putting that one in, but here we go, James. Championship field.
Championship field, and G2 looking to pull off that reverse sweep. Chicago tries to put a shot on. It'll be First Killer who will play this one off to the side. But Drees takes it in the corner, looking for JNaps. Quick shot, and this one will go off that post. JNaps again. This one could be a solo play. Does try to get the beat there on Taroko. Now Drees swarming. This one out in space, and JNaps is going to back pass that one to Chicago. Again, G2 trying to keep up with that possession. Drees have this. He's taking his time, looks for a ball and turn. Picking up the ball. JNaps picks it up, and G2 on the board.
He just turns ball cam off, sees First Killer in net, and then he doesn't see him again. Turo left between a rock and a hard place, and JNaps giving G2 the go-ahead.
You saw the panic First Killer getting punched in the mouth by Drees. You just take a swing and see what happens, and it leads to a goal for G2.
These two teams have everything. Rising stars, solid strikers, and mechanics that we have seen dominate in some games across the season. This one.
That line was open just for a second. There was a bump from Rogue, and it was just a millisecond, but an opportunity for Rogue that they couldn't capitalize on.
This is a window now for G2. You think if they can get another goal here, they could close it out. With how difficult of a series it's been for Rogue. Rogue now having to fight off a reverse sweep. But if you're Rogue, this next goal, it is of prime importance. They've got to battle back.
Well, it's been almost 10 minutes since their last goal, and just as crossbar says, not right now, and G2 gonna run the field.
Transition score here. Drees, that one's gonna be off. First Killer's gonna try to pick it up, but JNaps with the beat. G2 swarming the Rogue net. Chicago tries, but Turo's there for the save. Can Drees get back into this one? Does have a chance, but that one's behind Chicago. He's gonna try to leave it for JNaps. G2 pressure still there here. He's gonna try to go for the starve here on Rogue, but Rogue holding on. We're approaching that halfway point here in game 5. And it looks like whenever G2 have that counterattack, they're so fast onto it. Rogue are just desperately staying involved. Demo after demo keep coming in. This one maybe will finally be able to get some space here for Rogue, but only for a moment. Drees looking for the double. He has it, but it's off the board. Chicago follow up straight to First Killer with the clear. Rogue cannot buy themselves a second.
But Rogue, they had to stand strong in that moment. They cannot afford to give up another goal. They did it. They rose to the occasion. Now it's time for them to take it downfield and tie this game up. Otherwise, their series could be, or their season could be over.
That'll be some space here. Turo desperately trying to make that work, but Drees has control. Taroko decides to leave the ball to grab Boost, and he's going to use just a little of that. JNaps trying to put on a quick shot, and Turo will get the stop. Even when they have a moment of room, G2 make it work. Rogue are trying here. Maybe a chance for shot. Shot! Turo in the top right corner.
G2 left stranded like deer in headlights here, all on the goal line, staring at this bullet coming from Turo.
All 3 G2 players in net. Turo had a task ahead of him, and he was able to pull it off. But First Killer also so important on that play. Going up for that air dribble threatening, he put the G2 defense in an awkward spot. So despite G2 having all that pressure, Rogue was able to make stop after stop, and they're right back into it.
Oh, this
Oh my.
Sirocco.
Oh
That's
my.
a dangerous ball. First killer. Oh, he
No
tries to
way.
fake the whole team. But now this is dangerous. G2 on the counter. Dree sails that across. JNAPS is there. Has Chicago in midfield. A little bit of an awkward play. And first killer with a chance there to give Rogue the lead. Tried to go for the slow play out, but G2 dove on that ball.
Here we go. 1 minute to go here. Game number 5. It's all on the back of Rogue. And Sirocco can't find that angle, but first killer, a little bit of space up towards that upper 90 and turned away by JNAPS. And nice clear downfield. Still all knotted up. Next goal could be the difference maker.
Ball off the corner. First killer sends that one into midfield. This one will be JNAPS. Has a lot of control. Does get that flip in.
Oh my gosh!
Oh! G2 take the lead.
JNAPS getting over one defender and taking out the second. See ya, Sirocco. And Dree slots it down low, bottom right.
JNAPS, his shooting has been jaw-dropping, but this time he just gets in the way, and Drees will clean up a huge goal for Drees. That could be the one that puts them by Rogue.
20 seconds left here for Rogue. They got to get one to tie. Otherwise, the season's over.
So smart.
Taking all the time in the world. Got a flip reset on that ball. Turin to first killer. They play it off the corner. They got to get a good 50 here. This clears out.
That's game.
And this
Ice.
one's going to roll. That's all the way in. No way. G2 have done it.
Look at the rookie here, heads up all the way downfield. Knows Rogue has to send the whole house in the kitchen sink and just rolls it down between the dotted lines.
And it's another dunk over first killer. Full field goal for Drees, who had massive shoes to fill with the departure of Rizzo, but he stands and delivers. G2 take down Rogue.
Oh my goodness. And they do it with a reverse sweep and end it on Champions Field. You couldn't write a better script for G2.
Wow. As dominant as Rogue came into this second series, G2 hit back twice as hard. And man, oh man, is this team excelling to the next level. Unbelievable win for G2.
This is amazing. This really is amazing. You know, as an NA fan, the question is, you know, what's going to happen to this spot on G2? Drees is just filling in. He's just filling in. It's going to help G2 finish out the season. Then we'll see what happens. But G2, I mean, look at him.
Please.
That was just that. I loved every moment of that series. G2 reverse sweeping Rogue. Rogue's season ends on a difficult note, but they still made it far to get to this point. But G2, there is something special going on with this team.
You know, I'm just going to send a message out to G2. Please, more Drees. That's all it is.
Yeah, G2 are dominating. I mean, they look so good, and they continue their run here in championships. How far will they go? That's the question.